I'm Molly and I'm in second grade.
How do you reflect and think about your learning?
I go home on Monday and I look at my graded papers and see what I should work on in class.
Do you think reflection helps you learn?
Yes, because you can always learn from your mistakes.
Do you create and check on learning goals for yourself?
Yes, when we graph and look at my map scores, we look at our goals and I set my LIP goals, but Miss Anderson gave me ideas.
My name is Ava Jones and I go to Brighton Academy in Douglasville, Georgia. I'm in third grade in Miss Jones's class.
How do you reflect on your learning in class?
I reflect on my learning in class by writing on what I did or just telling people what I did.
Do you think reflection helps you learn?
Yes, it helps me learn by giving me the deeper meaning of things and what I need to work on.
Do you create and check on learning goals for yourself?
Yes, I do it on my ILP.
Tell us what an ILP is.
An ILP is an individual learning plan. It tracks where we've been in the beginning of the year and the end of the year.
Can you give us one example?
Yes. Like if you have your math ILP, it has to score where you were in the beginning and what you have in the end.
Do you check on your ILP throughout the year?
Yes. My name is Crystal Lee and I go to Brighton Academy. I'm in third grade and my teacher is Miss Jones.
How do you reflect on your learning?
I reflect on my learning by doing different stuff and seeing how I reflect on my goals, my learning. Cause I learn different stuff and I see how I grew from that to now.
Can you give us any specific examples of recently when you reflected on something?
We did a project about, we did 2 projects and the second one we had to do a project about explorer. So we had to learn about the explorer and we had to tell the 4th graders about the explorer. I use a rubric to tip myself.
Do you think reflection helps you learn?
Yes, I think reflection helps you learn.
Do you create and check on learning goals for yourself?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
So we do like different stuff and we set goals and we take tests to see how we grew and if we beat that goal.
My name is Isabel Thrillkild, and I'm in the 4th grade, Miss Brown's class.
How do you reflect on your learning in Miss Brown's class?
Well, I study a lot, and if I get a bad grade, I don't react so much as like, oh my gosh, I'm so mad at myself now. I just try to take a deep breath and try to study more, and just, study more, pretty much.
Do you use rubrics or checklists to help you?
Yeah. Oftentimes when we do projects in our class, we receive a rubric, and so I use it to check off my work. So.
Do you think reflection helps you learn?
Yeah, because if you get a bad grade and you're like, I don't know, I'm just gonna give up now. There's nothing you can do about it because you have to study, and if you want to get better, you have to try. You can't just wake up one day and you're better. So.
Okay. Do you create and check on learning goals that you set for yourself?
Yeah, I try to as much as possible. Last year we had an index card, and we had to write our goals for the week, and if we got them, then we check it off, and if you didn't, then you just try to do it next week. But yeah. So Yeah, I try to.
Can you tell us and explain about individual learning plans?
Yeah. And like when you are in a learning plan, you have to think about a lot of stuff. And if you try to go and you have to do it by yourself. If you have friends that can help you through, but you can't depend on somebody else to do all the work for you. You have to at least try. You have to try.
What is an individual learning plan?
It's like when it's hard to explain, but you have to like just. I know that Brighton Academy is all about individual learning plans and trying to make the environment of our school like able for students to learn by themselves, but also be part of a crew. So you're with a crew, but you have to realize that sometimes you have to do stuff in life by yourself. So.
Can you give us an example of one of your individual learning plans for this year or like last year? One of your goals?
Yes, I'm a chatterbox and I always talk. And so a lot of my goals were based on me trying to help myself not talk and to get my work done. So, because I'm smart, but I like to talk. And that's the problem, so that's most of my goals.
How do you check on your goal? What do you do?
Well, for most of them, I can look on my crew card or in my agenda and see, or in my graded work folder and see what I've done over the last time period for my goal.
Hello, my name is Meredith Diller and I am in Miss Brown's class, 4th grade.
How do you reflect on your learning at Brighton?
Most of the time on assessments we have to do that, and if I decide to, the first time if I don't really think I do my best, I like to wait to she's like, Miss Brown is like, do you want me to hold your papers and wait to grade them and you can see them on Monday? And most of the time I'm like, sure. And so on Monday I find them mistakes that I made, and normally I make a good grade.
Do you think reflection helps you learn better?
Sometimes, yes.
Can you give any examples?
I feel like it could, because when you make a correction, you can learn from your mistake.
Do you create learning goals for yourself?
Sometimes.
When you make your learning goals, your individual learning plans, how do you check those?
Well, first I make sure I do them, then I check them by one of my learning goals. Can it be out of school?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. One of my learning goals was how to ride a ripstick. It's a toy that has only 2 wheels, one in front, one in the back. It was hard when I first got it, but now I'm riding up and down hills fast, so yeah.
As I went through this, I realized that I really improved on many things. For one, in 5th grade, I was really struggling in reading. So I wanted to master reading out loud, multiple words and getting the words correctly and not stuttering. And so in 5th grade, I set my goal for 6th grade and I met that goal. And I think that me continually going back to what I wrote to see actually helped me improve more than anything. And then in 6th grade in my math class, we set a goal, and then before the school year ended, we basically did this packet, and Ms. Beck had us go through everything and see what we remembered and see what we had improved on based on our goal. And according to this, I did, because I understood everything that we had learned that year, and that was my goal. I wanted to retain most of the information that we read and went over. And then this is from this year. We did a comic strip in Georgia Studies, and for me, Georgia Studies seemed like it would be a little bit harder, but it's actually a little bit easier. And as I go through the standards on the rubric, I see that my writing did improve from 5th grade, and it also got better, and I used more complex words, and when she read through it, or anyone else read through it, they could understand what I was talking about, and it was very clear. And everything else is good. I mean, I had a few grammatical errors, but otherwise it was good.
How does setting your own goal versus when a teacher sets your goal improve your learning?
I think that when you set your own goal, it makes it's like you have your own drive to get it. And if a teacher sets it for you, it's like it's given to you instead of you want it.
Okay. Did setting the goal for yourself at the beginning of the year keep you focused throughout the year?
It did. It made it a little bit easier for me to look through my stuff after I've gone through it and study harder, so I knew exactly what I was doing.
Do you feel prepared for high school from what you've done at Brighton?
I do. Because here, when you do things, they have you go through it and double check it, and if you do have errors, they tell you, hey, you need to fix this. And I think that going into high school, I'm more aware of it. Instead of just seeing it after I've gotten a grade, I know things to look for in my writing.
So you feel more independent with your learning versus teacher dependent?
Mm-hmm.